Hi and welcome to Geekology. I'm David Zbia.
And I'm Sven Harvey.
And we're just back from reviewing Captain America 2 at View Cinemas Star City, the largest cinema in England. What did you think?
Well, it's quite strange in a way because I was quite surprised by the first film. I was going into that when I first saw it literally as it was going to be backstory to lead up to the Avengers. And that was it. I wasn't expecting to particularly enjoy it or anything. I was just going to find out about the character. I was very surprised by the first film and found it really quite enjoyable. I mean, okay, the violence level was up there because, you know, it was during the Second World War, but it was all within the ramifications of that making sense as part of that.
Yeah.
And it was really quite enjoyable. Now going into this one, the first thing that took me by surprise was quite how violent it was to start with.
Yeah.
Because it really did go straight in and go for you, didn't it?
I was surprised by the 12A rating.
Yeah. Again, it's like Robocop. I'm wondering how the hell this has got a 12A.
Well, I feel that audiences are maturing a lot quicker now.
Yeah.
Not specifically because of television and games, but because of how available news coverage is.
Yeah.
And news coverage is getting far more graphic.
Yeah.
And it really is becoming more of a day-to-day occurrence. But on the other hand, I do feel it's kind of balanced because whilst things are more violent now and people do see far more violence than when we were children, you also do see the ramifications of those actions.
Yeah, exactly.
You get to see the knock-on effect violence can have, especially in England. We've got a big thing about knife crime and you know, really pursuing the actions that happens. So I feel it's a hand-in-hand balance of getting the mix quite right. I agree with you, I was surprised with the 12A, but they probably edited it in such a way that they could get that little bit extra demographic in and making it at 15, while still trying to keep it away from being a PG, because as a PG, there's a lot of things they couldn't have got away from, which really helped the development storyline for the other characters. Not so much for Captain America, but definitely for the subsidiary characters.
Yeah, I mean, this is the thing, is you can't really approach the themes that they're dealing with in these films without violence being involved.
Yeah, especially Captain America, as you said, is World War II.
Exactly. I mean, the thing is with these films is because of the content and what they're dealing with theme-wise and stuff like that, there's going to be quite a high level of violence. Yeah. But at least it's not being handled in a gratuitous way. It's not a case of you seeing
violence for violence sake,
and you're not seeing bits of skull flying off and all that kind of stuff.
Yeah, it is sort of like there's a little red dot. Dump.
Yeah, basically. I mean, they're using small caliber firearms, so it's not a case of people's backs being blown off. And that
even with high caliber firearms, a lot of those are overblown special effects.
Yeah, and they're hitting things around them to knock people out and kill them through shockwaves rather than actual human bodily damage. Yeah. And even when Cap takes a few bullets and you know, it's obviously a flesh wound in the films.
I know that the last few did a bit more than a flesh wound.
Yeah, quite.
Well, see, I agree with you. I was surprised by the first one, not because I went into it purely for an information basis. I went into that film not knowing much about the comics, but knowing a lot about the animated series, because I grew up with the animated series. And whilst Captain America was never one of my favourite superheroes, he was on the list. Yeah. You know, it was the stuff I grew up with. I was really pleased with the first film. Yeah. I enjoyed the first film. It did make me go back and look at some of the comics, but not all of them, to be honest, because as with all of the new Marvel film universe, it's not set in the comic universe. It was you actually said, no, they're just cherry-picking the best bits. And they're cherry-picking what works well for today's audience. Yeah, exactly. Captain America surprises me that he's as popular with today's audience, but I suppose it's the whole, you know, doing the right thing, doing the righteous thing, and yes, we did bad things, but we had to do this, and that's really motivational.
Yeah, I mean, this is the thing. Is I've got a feeling that that's part of the reason why he's so popular, is because there's at least a core of people who yearn for a little
simpler
bit more
times.
Black and white. Yeah. Whereas with Iron Man, you had philanthropist, playboy, billionaire, who basically finds his moral core in a way by being captured, and it's basically, this is what seems to be the theme, is that all the way through the Marvel movies, all the main characters are finding their Captain America within themselves.
Yeah.
And that's what he represents
is the core that they're
the
finding.
heart of the team.
Yeah. But as a sequel film, what did you think of the move on?
I mean, it was, as I said, the violence took me a little by surprise, and that went through the entire film.
Yeah.
The level of violence was way above what I was expecting. There was one scene, for instance, where someone ends up going through an engine block.
Yeah, that was a great special effect.
The actual turbine engines of
I felt
the
you
aircraft. I'm just
shift back a bit in your seat when that
"What?"
happened. Yeah.
That was a bit of a surprise. And the acting level was better than I expected.
Yeah. To tell you the truth, I really enjoyed this film.
Yeah.
The action was good. Special effects,
Absolutely.
of course, go without saying. But you know, it just shows you how much. I mean, I know it's got Marvel stamped everywhere, but
Yeah.
it just goes to show how much faith Disney have in it.
Yeah.
That they're giving them proper budgets to do.
Yeah. And
really good
a bit of a long leash, because Disney, as we knew them 10 years ago, would not
Would never
put
have
that
done
film
it.
out.
No.
Not in a
Well,
movie.
it's good that they're letting them have the independence to run with
Yeah,
the ball on this
absolutely.
one. So.
As far as the story's concerned, we don't really want to give much away, but wow, okay.
Yeah,
That's
interesting choices.
Very, very good piece of writing.
Yeah. Now, you see, I didn't know, and it wasn't until talking to you on the way back, that Falcon was in the trailer.
Yeah.
Because I just loved, as I said to you, but the audience at home don't know, I didn't watch the trailer for it, because I wanted to go in clean. I do find that, especially with films that I really look forward to, I do. Captain America was not on a really to look forward to list. It was on I should go see that because I want to see how it interconnects with S.H.I.E.L.D. And I've been really enjoying S.H.I.E.L.D. But I love the way they brought Falcon in. I like Falcon as a superhero. He was one of the superheroes that made a lot of sense to me.
Yeah.
I realised that as a British white kid, Falcon wasn't, really aimed at me.
No, quite.
But I liked that character, so I'm really happy that they're pulling him into that universe. And whether they're doing that for any specific demographics they're going for, or whether they're just going, you know what, he's part of the universe. Let's modernise him and bring him in. I love the modernisation of the suit. And the way they portrayed the character was, to the best of my knowledge, very true to the comics.
Yeah. Now, what I also found interesting is that the characters did get a lot of development, those around Cap.
Yeah.
Specifically, Black Widow and Nick Fury.
I can't wait for her film.
Yeah.
Her film will be phenomenal. I know it's been greenlit. I don't know if they've started filming yet, but...
So it's going to be after Avengers 2, I think.
After, yeah.
Yeah, so interesting, because Avengers 2 is only next year.
Yeah, I know. They're creeping up quick, aren't they?
Absolutely.
So on a, say, 1 to 10 ratio.
8 out of 10, easily.
8 out of 10?
Yeah, I'm almost tempted to give it a 9.
Okay. Why does it lose that extra one? Violence or?
One, yeah, I mean, it's a case of, for a Marvel movie, I'm a little concerned about my 8-year-old seeing it. But that's why it's 12A.
Yeah.
And also, I think in the middle of the movie there was a bit of a pacing issue, and perhaps towards the end of the movie there were things that felt like they'd been cut out.
Yeah.
Like, it was pretty obvious that Commander Hill had re-aimed one of the ships from the way the ship's engines were moving.
Yeah.
But it wasn't actually explained, so it wasn't.
It could have been interpreted either way. See, I saw that bit, and I know that that's the way you felt, but I just went, no, it's just crashing that way.
Exactly.
So, yeah. I'm going to give it an 8 out of 10 as well. You see, I'm really tempted to give it a 7.5. I'm going to go with the 8.
Yeah.
Because I did enjoy the film. The things that I didn't like about the film was just the sheer amount of innocents that were killed. But again, you've got to keep it realistic.
Yeah.
But it's one of those things I don't like seeing a lot of that.
Yeah.
So,
Have you seen Man of Steel yet?
Yeah. Forget that. Transformers. Just.
Yeah.
But no, it's one of those things, and I know that films are trying to be more realistic these days. So obviously there are going to be casualties. So, but it's just something that recently with me has been bugging me a bit. The reason I'm not giving it a 9 is because you say there was a pacing issue. I didn't really have an issue with the pacing. I thought that it was okay. I did enjoy the character development of people around Cap, but as enjoyable as it was, and as far forward as I can see it pushing the universe, and you can see that they're quite clearly setting up for the third film, there was a few bits in there I think they could have fleshed out that would have been nicer. There was a few more things they could have explained about S.H.I.E.L.D. quite easily that they chose not to.
But that's what Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. is for.
But that's what Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. is for. So, whilst I'm not gonna... Yeah, I'm quite comfortable with an 8 for it because it is a very enjoyable film. And to the best of my knowledge, there are no gaping, you know, oh, this is so wrong. But again, I'm not a huge Captain America fan. Yeah, it was enjoyable, but it wasn't a great film. It's not a film that I'm, to be honest, ever going to say, oh, I should see Captain America again. I've seen it once, quite happy with that once. Films that get a 9 or a 10 out of me are films that I know I'm going to go back and watch time and time again and enjoy. I'm not saying I wouldn't enjoy it the second time, but it's not something that, you know, I'll probably get it on Blu-ray for friends to watch, and because I want to see the extra content.
Yeah.
But it's not something that I'm...
It's not like Iron Man, where it's something you can rewatch and rewatch. It's just brilliant.
Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely.
Okay. Well, thank you very much for watching, and thank you again to View Cinema at Star City. You can subscribe to us here on YouTube. You can follow us on Facebook and Twitter, and of course, there is the official Geekology website. Thank you for watching, and good night.
Bye.